Dr. Terence Forrester. Dr. Gossett Oliver. Thank you. Thanks, Minister. And now you may turn your attention to the screens one more time as we present the video vignettes on the pre-selected nominees for the National Medal for Science and Technology.
He believes that what you focus on can expand your imagination and creativity. For Dr. Henry I.C. Lowe, science and innovation has been his focus for the past 50 years, and as a medicinal chemist, he has achieved unparalleled success in the scientific research and development of health and wellness products from indigenous Jamaican plant materials.
Major work has been done on 4 plants: guinea hen weed, ganja, and the lignum vitae, and another one called Vernonia. And we have published quite a lot on these already, and they're all geared at looking at how we can manage the illnesses related to cancers, HIV/AIDS, and diabetes. Those are the major things.
Dr. Henry Lowe's vision has been dynamic, establishing the first science-based nutraceutical industry in the CARICOM region. This accomplishment is among his many firsts. He's the holder of 2 patents based on his research in nutraceuticals and chronic diseases. Dr. Lowe, along with Drs. West and Lockhart, researched and developed the first commercial product from ganja for the treatment of glaucoma. Dr. Henry Lowe's doctoral studies were carried out at Manchester University in England and postdoctoral studies at Bolton Institute of Technology in England and Harvard University and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in America. He has served Jamaica and the CARICOM region as former permanent secretary for the government of Jamaica, chairman, president, and chief executive officer of Blue Cross Jamaica, past chairman of the Bureau of Standards Jamaica and the Scientific Research Council, distinguished adjunct professor of ethnomedicinal chemistry at the University of Technology, and science, environment and energy policy planning and implementation consultant and advisor to CARICOM. In the international arena, Dr. Lowe has served as advisor in science and technology to the Secretary General of the United Nations. He is also an adjunct professor in the Department of Medicine at the University of Maryland School of Medicine, USA. His vision continues to expand, and today he's the founder and executive chairman of the Environmental Health Foundation EHF group of companies. To share his vision, he has published over 22 books and over 100 articles in the areas of science and technology. In recognition of his commitment to the advancement of science and technology, his national awards include the Order of Jamaica in August 2012 and the Commander of the Order of Distinction in 1982. He was awarded as Living Legend by the Caribbean Community of Retired Persons in 2012 and as the Jamaica Observer Business Leader in 2006. Dr. Lowe's belief is that success favors the prepared mind, and he is preparing Jamaica and the region to capitalize on the commercial and entrepreneurship opportunities available through the science, technology, and innovation arena.
Dr. Henry Lowe, a nominee for the National Medal of Science and Technology 2014.
He is driven by a desire to see Caribbean people live their best lives. To accomplish this, diseases have to be eradicated or contained. This is the passion of a man known as Dr. Terence Forrester, a clinical scientist with a long-standing interest in the etiology and pathogenesis of cardiovascular disease, primarily hypertension. After completing his postgraduate studies in physiology, he qualified in medicine, obtaining both a Doctor of Philosophy and a Doctor of Medicine. The foundation was firm, and he started his initial work with the Tropical Metabolic Research Unit at the University of West Indies, Jamaica. He then spearheaded the formation of the Tropical Medicine Research Institute, which merged research facilities at UWI in Jamaica and Barbados. His major research focuses on the cause of hypertension and other cardiovascular diseases. He has examined the risk and impacts of obesity, metabolic programming of early life and the constraints of fetal growth, and understanding the economic implications of chronic diseases and their interventions. Today, he is the chief scientist for the University of the West Indies Solutions for Developing Countries, SODECO, and professor of experimental medicine, Faculty of Medical Sciences, University of the West Indies.
UWI SODECO, Solutions for Developing Countries, is not a year and a half yet. And so clearly, the impact of SODECO is leveraging my experience to date as a postgraduate student, as a postdoctoral fellow, as a member of academic faculty in the Faculty of Medical Sciences, and especially my work in Tropical Metabolism Research Unit. All of that has led to a particular understanding of how to approach, how do you prevent poor people in developing countries from developing obesity, hypertension, diabetes, stroke, and heart disease, once it is that the poverty has been alleviated and they become westernized.
Dedicated, hard-working, and unfailing in his commitment to understanding tropical medical science, he has contributed to over 200 peer-reviewed publications. He has received several awards in recognition of his work. In 2012, he was awarded national honors, the Order of Jamaica, for services to research. In 2006, he was the recipient of the prestigious Anthony N. Sabga Caribbean Awards for Excellence, one of the region's leading recognition programs. That same year, the inaugural Caribbean laureate also earned the Beringa Ingleheim Award for Hypertension Research in Developing Countries. In 2003, he received the Vice Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Research at UWI. For Dr. Forrester, science and entrepreneurship go hand in hand, as he has been successful in mobilizing significant funding for research from both local and foreign donors. He is a medical scientist, strategic planner, administrator, fundraiser, and teacher, an outstanding exemplar of excellence in Caribbean science and technology.
Dr. Terence Forrester, a nominee for the National Medal of Science and Technology 2014.
To know Professor Gossett Dunn Oliver is to know a man who isn't afraid of hard work. The Kingstonian started as a production engineer in the United Kingdom. You could say that's where he began to dabble in metallurgy or material sciences. He then moved on to Nigeria, where he lectured at Kaduna Polytechnic, focusing of course on the engineering discipline. And later, he was recruited to be the head of the engineering department at the College of Arts, Science and Technology, now the University of Technology Jamaica, UTech. This further led to his work in tribology. Professor Gossett Oliver is currently Vice President at the School of Graduate Studies, Research and Entrepreneurship at UTech. He is a EuroEng, a chartered engineer, and currently holds the highest distinction of City and Guilds of London Institute, that of Fellow. Professor Oliver's desire to seek scientific truth has made him a pioneer in a number of areas, which includes introducing tribology as a discipline to Jamaica and becoming the first of 2 chairs approved by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, to oversee tribological studies in the Caribbean.
We have a research group here in tribology here at University of Technology, where we've done extensive work in the sugar industry, and we have proved that we can save millions of dollars just in the sugar industry alone, looking at one particular mechanism to do with the sugarcane rollers.
How he does the balancing act is still to be found out. In between joining the prestigious rank of Fellow of the Welding Institute in the United Kingdom, establishing the Jamaica Welding Institute, and authoring or co-authoring some 100 journal articles, he finds time to garden. And yes, he has a green thumb. In 2012, he was bestowed the Order of Distinction OD in recognition of service to engineering and academia. In addition, the Council of the Institute of Jamaica, IOJ, in 2009 nominated Professor Oliver for the award of a Silver Musgrave Medal for distinguished eminence in the field of engineering education. Professor Oliver has been a member of the Jamaica Institution of Engineers, JIE, for over 28 years. He's also Fellow of the organization. In addition, he's a registered professional engineer and Fellow of the Jamaican Institute of Management, JIM, and Caribbean Academy of Sciences, CAS.
Professor Gossett Oliver, a nominee for the National Medal of Science and Technology 2014.
May I now invite the Most Honorable Prime Minister to the stage to make a presentation of the National Medal for Science and Technology to the winner. The inaugural National Medal for Science and Technology goes to Dr. Honorable Henry I.C. Lowe, noted scientist, researcher, academic, entrepreneur of national, regional, and international repute, has dedicated his life to the advancement of scientific and technological knowledge and innovation for the benefit of his country, Jamaica, his fellow Jamaicans, and for all humanity. Specializing in medicinal chemistry, he has been an outstanding and exemplary achiever in the fields of science and technology, energy, the environment, wellness and health sciences nationally, regionally and internationally since graduating from the University College of the West Indies, University of London, 1961, and having earned the Bachelor of Sciences with honors. His early education was at Calabar and Excelsior High Schools. And after the University of the West Indies, he pursued graduate studies at the University of Sydney, where he earned an MSc. Manchester University, having read for the PhD. Bolton Institute of Technology in England for the Diploma in Technical Education, and Harvard University and MIT in the USA, where he pursued postdoctoral studies. For more than half a century, his groundbreaking work, singly and in partnership with other visionaries, has opened up dynamic and exciting new vistas of opportunity in a wide array of areas, including environmental, technological, scientific, medical, and economic. Dr. Lowe is a true pioneer who established the first science-based nutraceutical industry in the CARICOM region, with significant financial potential for import substitution and export with a multi-billion-dollar market potential. His research in nutraceuticals and chronic diseases has led to far-reaching scientific breakthroughs, including the discovery of several bioactive molecules from Jamaican medicinal plants, particularly the Jamaican ball moss, more popularly known as old man's beard, which are being developed for cancer therapy and the treatment of diabetes and HIV/AIDS. Another area of transformative scientific work was his collaboration with Drs. West and Lockhart in the early research that led to the development of the first commercial product from ganja for the treatment of glaucoma. These achievements, following many years of dedication and persistence, have the potential to transform the nutraceutical industry, medical research, and the Jamaican economy. A prolific chronicler of his scientific work, Dr. Lowe has published over 22 books and counting. He was the first Caribbean person to publish a science textbook series for secondary schools, used not only in Jamaica and the Caribbean, but also in Africa. Some of the more recent publications include Caribbean Herbs for Diabetes Management, Fact or Fiction, Discovering the Future, the Emergence, Development, and Future of Science and Technology in Jamaica, and Jamaica's Ethnomedicine, its potential in the healthcare system. He's also published over 100 articles in the areas of science, technology, and the health sciences in scholarly journals and the popular press. Dr. Lowe has many awards and accolades, including the Jamaica Business Observer Award, and some of those have already been mentioned. While giving valuable service to the Jamaican public sector as a permanent secretary for the government of Jamaica, Dr. Lowe researched and established the first Ministry of Science and Environment in the CARICOM region. He's also distinguished himself in the private sector as chairman, as well as president and CEO of Blue Cross of Jamaica, and founder and executive chairman of the EHF group of companies, which includes a private or not-for-profit organization, Environmental Health Foundation, that was established in 1992 to enhance the quality of people's lives in Jamaica. The group also includes a commercial entity, EHF Resource Development Limited, with subsidiaries, Pelican Publishers Limited, Eden Gardens Wellness and Lifestyle Limited, Biotech R&D Institute, and Medicanja. Biotech and R&D Institute is a company engaged in the research, development, and commercialization of health and wellness products from Jamaica plant-based material, while Medicanja is a company that undertakes cutting-edge research and product development in the medicinal uses of ganja. He's an adjunct professor, and we heard that already, so I'm going to move on beyond that. As a result of his outstanding work in these many areas, he's earned several honors and awards. Ladies and gentlemen, in recognition of Jamaica's and the Caribbean's foremost scientist, researcher, public servant, author, educator, innovator extraordinaire, and successful entrepreneur, on this 12th day of November, in the year of our Lord 2014, the people and government of Jamaica are pleased to confer on Dr. the Honorable Henry I. C. Lowe the distinguished recognition and award of the National Medal for Science and Technology, which takes with it a $1.5 million cash award. However, Dr. Henry Lowe. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Henry Lowe.
Well, where do I begin? I think, first of all, it's my honor and pleasure to recognize and congratulate all those innovators, scientists and technologists who have been recognized here tonight. Please join me in recognizing. I'm particularly honored. That was me coming from outer space. But I'm particularly honored by being the first recipient of this prestigious award. And I treat it very seriously because, as we all know in Jamaica, encouragement sweetens labor. As a matter of fact, very often, persons who know my tender age, not 21, 75, which I'm very proud to say, wonder how and why I continue. And it's a labor of love. I believe in what I do, and not only do I believe in what I do, but I need to say thank you not only to my colleagues who have assisted me over over the years, my family, and of course, I'm going to ask my wife, Janet, over there to stand and be recognized, because without the ladies in your life to help you, and this is not just about cooking, because those of you who've seen me put on some weight, yes, that's part of it. But she wasn't trained in science, but she took a very special interest in what I do. And when I go to meetings and presentations and visits, she's there, and very often they're asking her what is her area of specialization, especially colleagues, friends. I started off without the normal recognition of Most Honorable Prime Minister and others, but I believe I can be forgiven, because on an occasion like this, one begins to think, one is surprised, and then one begins to think, what do I say if I'm allowed to say anything? And then, the first thing is to do what I did before. But I want to close off by making a couple of comments, which I hope will be taken in the very best interest of the nation. The first thing is, we all in this room and elsewhere need to recognize that unless we embrace science and technology, we have heard this said repeatedly. I remember Dr. Ventura, when he was the advisor to the former Prime Minister, he said it, and people said, well, yeah, we hear it, so what? When my honorable friend, Professor Morrison, took over this role, I said to him, don't let it be just talk. You must do things, because that's what people want to say. Because when one talks about you must have science and technology and innovation, they need to be shown how. They also need to understand that this can make all the difference, because that's why the developed world is where it is. And why the developing countries, poor developing countries, have not moved, because they've not embraced this. And there are many steps and many things that we have to do. Just like how those of us who are trying to promote science and technology and do research and development. For me, it has been a long, hard slog. And those of you who managed to read my book, It Can Be Done, and it's something which I really hope one day I'm going to be able to pass on to young people in all the schools, that they realize that accomplishing a lot of things can be done, but it takes hard work and determination. And very often, and I'll tell you, I can't really say how I managed to achieve the things I have. And the only understanding that I have is it's got to be divine intervention, because there's no other way I could have accomplished all this. Amen. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to say here that family, friends, and colleagues can be your greatest strength. But in this Jamaica that we all live in and love, one of the things we must overcome is the business or the problem of not being cooperative. If we are not cooperative, we're not going to make it. I spoke yesterday, or on Monday, it was yesterday at the opening of as a plenary lecturer at the Ganja, the SRC meeting, and the topic is green gold, and I said very, very simply that green for me is a plant and gold is the money. And we can do it. I did a study recently which demonstrated that if we start seriously in the next few months, and when I say seriously, I'm talking about a roadmap, in 3 years from now, we, Little Jamaica, involving the little man, the big man, everybody in here, can generate $78 billion Jamaican, not US yet, Jamaican to this economy. Isn't that something to try? It is this type of pursuit I think we need to go after, and it can be done. But I want to go a little bit further by saying very quickly that one of the things that need to be supported in all of this is a financial base. We're going to talk about science and technology for a long time, and we're not going to see, except for the few who are fortunate to move it on, if we do not put financial resources. And, you know, I watched one of the young persons out there was saying that the Jamaican Development Bank supported the project, and they went to the commercial bank, and they said they didn't have enough money, or enough security to get a loan to go on with a project. And I was really saddened by this. I did not do it. What I'm going to be doing, I understand there's a check in here for 1.5 million. Is it US or Jamaican? Okay, it might be Jamaican. But whatever. This I'm going to be matching tomorrow. And I'm going to invite Professor MacDonald from the University of the West Indies, who will be charged with pushing the agenda for nutraceuticals with the National Council of Science and Technology and meeting the demand, not requirements, the demand of our Honorable Prime Minister to make nutraceuticals #1 for Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, I gave it not because I have a lot. I gave it because because it is a start. And what I'm going to ask every person who has been invited to this function tonight and is here, we have all your names. A letter will be coming to you from Professor MacDonald to make a contribution to this fund. And so we will go on. And let me tell you something which I am sharing, hopefully not reluctantly, and that is, we started our commercial endeavors. There was the research, basic research that was being done some time now. But since I left Blue Cross and decided that innovations in science and technology using our indigenous resources, of which you heard, we have got more than 50% of the established plants, medicinal plants of the world. And what we have done so far, well, you can work it out for yourself. This is being changed, and it will be changed, and I promise you that as long as the UWI and the team there can work with us, we are going to achieve a whole lot for this country. I just want to say here about achievements. I didn't do it alone. Lots of what I've done, most of it, I think, and I work with my team. You'll notice that I didn't come up for the Alpha Prostate Award because it's teamwork. I have, and I just want to say here, the best young graduates from the University of the West Indies. Dr. Shara Watson is one of them. The average age of my research team of about 12 persons with PhDs and so on is 33. And who positively heard it? Me. If you move me out of the team, then you're talking about an average age of about 25. Where else in the world do you have such young scientists? We are building a base for the future. And I tell you, you have not heard anything yet. You wait until next year when you're going to get some more major results coming out of us. We have so far from our team created employment. And because this is what this country needs to do now. And I'm just showing how science and technology can do it. We have created employment for over 60 persons in this new field that we have created. And we're not talking about the farmers out there. We have spent millions of dollars already that we have done, and the results are being created. We are now, of all our products, we have produced 33 products so far, and 90% of what we produce is being exported. I could go on and on, but time is late, and you'll hear more. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the Acting Executive Director of the SRC will move the vote of thanks, Mr. Hawthorne Watson.
The Most Honourable Portia Simpson Miller, Prime Minister, Honourable Minister Paul Well, Your Worship, the Mayor, members of the Diplomatic Corps, other distinguished ladies and gentlemen, innovators, ladies and gentlemen, the press. Our function of this class and elegance should make it easy for me to move the vote of thanks, but for the first time, I believe, I am left bereft of words. Prime Minister, your passion for and demonstrated understanding of the importance of the application of science, technology, and innovation, and your charge to the scientific community have fallen on respective ears. If the audience is in agreement with me, let us hear it for Prime Minister. So, Prime Minister, for gracing us with your presence, for honoring us as our guest speaker, lecturer, and motivator, and for handing out the major awards, I say thanks. To Honourable Minister Paul Well, was always maintained that if Hollywood can roll out the red carpet for acting and fiction, why not for our scientists and innovators and inventors who produce goods and services that create jobs and that create wealth? I thank you, Minister, for your exciting speech, and I've struck from my notes for introducing the Prime Minister. Thank you very much, Minister. To Professor Morrison, for your opening remarks and your wit, and for assuring us that the NCST is poised to take science and technology to a level where it has not been before. Thank you, Professor Morris. Reverend Dixon, for saying grace and invoking divine guidance, we say thanks. To our judges and their teams, the most I will tell is that I went into the assessment room for about 5 minutes, and I mumbled to myself, thank God I'm not a judge. Thank you, tough tasks, but excellent work. Let us give a hand to our judges. Fabulous 5, from which musical much was expected and much received, we say a fabulous thank you. And to Bonnie, I don't know whether I do the Booksy or Boxy after tonight, but he was marvelous. Let us hear it for him. To the SRC Secretariat, with invaluable input from the Office of the Prime Minister and robust support from the NCST, Rosie Fisher, Angela Carr, Professor Morrison, Mrs. Dallas Campbell, Ambassador Felix, and the chairman. A round of applause, please. To the Pegasus Hotel and Bert Rose for the ambience. To the press and Avtar Video Productions for putting science and technology in the forefront. Give them a round of applause. To our own inimitable master of ceremonies. What can I say? A job. And to you, our audience, for coming here and making it all happen. You know, I got a message just before I came on the podium, and it says, the prohibition and rapturous applause has been lifted specifically for this ceremony. I think you all deserve a round of applause, and you should make it.